And it's something I actually learned recently. And I learned recently that people highly overestimate their ability to multitask. Can you tell me a time that you did this as well? Because I'm sure you can think about it. As I say that, it probably rings a bell in your head like, you know what, you're probably right. A lot of us believe that we are capable of doing absolutely everything that we set out to do. And I believe that you should dream high, aim high, and I believe that you're capable of a lot more than you think you are. However, what we overestimate is the multitasking aspect of it, right? We underestimate how much focus and dedication something takes to achieve a good result from it, right? If you take a piece of paper out right now and you write down a list of things that you would like to get done today from the perspective of your most productive, most driven, and motivated self, I want you to write down some tasks that you think you could get done today. What you're going to find is you'll probably have at least 10 things on that piece of paper, and they're going to range in many different categories. It's going to say workout, it's going to say read, it's going to say clean the house, it's going to say do this, whatever is aligned with your goals. There's going to be a lot of things on that list. Here's where the problem lies. We were never set to put that kind of energy in many different lanes. When you try to separate yourself, it leaves the brain so confused. And it's things like TikTok that have been overstimulating our brains for the past few years that's allowed us to believe that we are capable of taking in that much information and focusing on that many things at once. The truth is you can't. When it comes to something that's important, it takes very high focus. And as soon as you start doing a million other things, it takes that focus away. And once that focus is taken away, it's very hard to get back. What I like to call this the busy schedule, right? This is the busy schedule. When you write down 10 plus things when you write down your fantasy of what you could get done in just one day, I call this a busy schedule. Why do I call it the busy schedule? I call it the busy schedule because we tend to equate busyness with productivity. We think busyness, the busier you are, the more productive you're being. Truth is, those two are very different concepts. I'm going to tell you why. Listen. Busyness is often relevant with time. If you wake up in the morning and from the moment that you put your sneakers on to leave the house, all the way to the moment that you come home, wind down, and go to bed, you are doing things that are important. That is busy, right? And it could even not be important. It's just busy because you're just filling up time. So that to me is busy. When it comes to productive is a different thing. It's measured differently. Productivity to me is measured by results, the results that you get. Right? So if you do one task, but the results are absolutely outstanding and it leverages you for the rest of the week, that to me is productive. Even if it only took you 3 hours to do and you have the rest of your day free, that to me is more productive than the busy work. Now, if you're in the position I'm going to assume you are, somebody looking to grow and to build skills to change their self or their life or their situation, then you should be focused way more on the productive work than you are the busy work, right? The reason for that being that busy work is equated with a certain lifestyle. If you have a lifestyle that requires busyness, then you will be a busy person. You can't force busyness because when you force busyness, it's usually just filled up with fluff. So if you focus on productivity and what your main focus should be, which is growth, then productivity is much more important than busyness. And the productivity will breed growth, will then bring the busyness into your life. So if you're looking to be a person with a busy schedule, then you need to focus on the productivity first, the productivity and the actual results of your input, the outcome of what you're doing every single day, right? What I would do is I would look at people online that I admire very strongly, and I would find that they had very busy schedules. They were always busy. They were always on flights. They were always in a suit. They were always on stage. And obviously I wanted that for my life. And I assumed from what I heard of the past, all the things about manifesting, and I'm not saying that manifesting is not true, but what I am saying is that there's some things that can be taken the wrong way. So I imagine that if that was a lifestyle that I want to live, I have to emulate and make my life as busy as possible. Now, truth is that just ended up setting me back very far because I was lost. I was very much misunderstood in what I needed to be doing. And I was chasing something rather than allowing it to come to me. And the way you allow it to come to you is by focusing on the productivity that gets you the growth to get you to the position of where you have that busy lifestyle. Do not just busy up your life without intention. All right. Now, if you have things that you can add to your schedule that are actually important, then that's a little different. But even then, I suggest not adding anything that isn't absolutely necessary. I'll give you a perfect example. If today I write down a list of everything I know I need to get done. Let's say I need to go to the DMV. I need to clean the house. I need to record 3 videos. I need to do this. Let's just say those 4 things, right? All right, well, as soon as if I have to clean the entire house, what we do is we highly underestimate how long it's going to take. And we do that because we know we could rush through it. If I rush through and clean the house in an hour, can I get it done? Sure. Is it going to be high quality? No, which means I'm going to have to end up doing it again. So I know that if I'm going to clean the house thoroughly, I need a separate day dedicated just for that. So maybe I'll do this today. But if you notice, those other things like the DMV sound the most important. So what we'll do is we'll knock out the DMV. That'll probably take like 2 hours. Let's get that knocked out first. Let's make that have priority. And then once the DMV is done, we could probably clean the house and do the DMV at the same day, right? Because the DMV doesn't require focus. That just requires time. Clean the house requires focus. So let's take clean the house and the DMV, put those in the same day. That should busy up our day. Then recording the videos, we're going to put that on a separate day because that also requires focus. And as soon as you mix 2 things that require focus, recording videos and cleaning the house, you have 2 things that are completely separate, but both require hard focus. When you start mixing those together, you start losing quality and your mind just starts not being able to focus good enough, right? So I want you to start separating your things like that. Make sure you take the things that actually require focus and you separate them from the things that require time. And they should be on separate schedules. If you got something that requires focus, maybe you could pair it with something that requires time. But never mix the 2 up. Don't mix up time and don't mix up time and focus. Try to separate them as much as you can unless it is genuinely necessary for you to rush through it. And with that being said, another really big important topic is the idea of high leverage tasks. I don't know if you guys have heard the idea of high leverage tasks, but basically high leverage tasks is saying if you write down a list of 5 things and you read them back, which one of these things will give you the most leverage for the entire week? Which one of these things will push you the furthest forward? I'll give you an example of how I determine high leverage. Let's say my goal is to be an aspiring public speaker, right? Stand on stages with consistent bookings and be a public influence, right? To help people and teach people how to take control of their lives, right? And build the personal skills necessary to become the person that they desire. If that is my long-term goal, then my short-term goal should look something like building my public influence, working on my speaking skills, and creating a personal brand that is attractive. So then if I lay out my week and I say I need to do this, and this week, let's really take a look at it and see, all right, well, if I had to just choose one to do, which one of these would set me up the best for the rest of the week? So like, let's say I have to script out some videos or plan some videos I'm going to record. Then I have to actually record at least 3 videos this week, right? Then let's say I have to do some other stuff I'm not going to sit here and make up. Recording the 3 videos will take a lot of time and a lot of focus. But believe it or not, it is the small task of actually planning the videos that'll set me up the furthest. Why? Because if I plan the videos, it'll make it easier to record the 3 videos, right? So I can record them back to back because I don't have to think about what I'm going to say. They're already ready to go. Then the next day, I can spend the entire day shooting those videos. 3 videos in a row, back to back. Let's record 3 videos, right? If I would have started with recording the 3 videos, yes, it would have helped. But at the same time, then I would still it would take me longer. It would be harder to do because there's no formula. And we already discussed that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So now that my videos are planned out, all I got to do is shoot them. I already know exactly what I'm going to say, what I'm going to talk about. Boom. So that's 2 days. Then the third day, I can spend editing those 3 videos. It's going to take a lot of time. Editing takes a lot of focus. It's probably going to take me 5 hours to edit those 3 videos unless I'm rushing through it. But that's why we're putting just the task of editing on that day and absolutely nothing else so we can focus and not feel like, dang, I have to do 5 other things as well. So we can edit. Once those videos are edited, the thumbnails can be created, the scheduling, they can be scheduled. Now I have 3 weeks of videos just for focusing on one task at a time. Had I tried to just be like, all right, let's plan, record, edit, and do the thumbnail and post the video all in one day. That is like 5 different things that all require focus, and it's going to make it hard to keep going. And at the end of the day, the consistency is what matters. If you are having a schedule that doesn't allow you to be consistent, then the schedule doesn't matter, because you could be getting decent results or feel like you are because you're busying up your day. But if you can't do that on a consistent basis and keep going with that schedule, then it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, consistency is really all that matters. When it's all said and done, it's the consistency that got everybody where they are, the not giving up. Now, if you could find a way to take your high leverage tasks and maximize them to the utmost productivity and really narrow down your focus and do that on a consistent basis, you will be light years away ahead of everybody else. I want to give you guys one tip to help you guys do this. Let's talk about journaling a little bit. Journaling, it is a very useful tool in this concept. Why? Because you can sit down at your desk and you can write down. Just start writing. Don't even think about what you're going to write. Just write down your thoughts. You want to clear your mind, essentially. We rarely as humans get the opportunity to actually dump our brains. But if you just journal every single day, you will get that opportunity at least once a day. Because nobody's going to listen to everything we have to say all day, every day. Some of it is irrelevant to them. Sometimes people just don't really care. They don't want to hear it. But the journal is always willing to listen. So write down your thoughts, write down everything you're thinking, and you'll see how your ideas start formulating and everything starts making sense. Why? Because there's more clarity. You're actually seeing your ideas on a piece of paper. You're getting them out of your cluttered headspace and able to make sense of what's actually going on. And the sooner you can make sense, the easier it's going to be to piece together what is actually important to get done today. Then you can start really narrowing it down and targeting your focus on what's important, rather than just filling up your day with busy work. So journaling is a very good tool, and I highly suggest that you use it. It's very, very good, very, very important to do. I recommend just getting a cheap journal from Walmart, get you a pen or a pencil even, and just start today. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I appreciate y'all for coming through and checking out the channel yet again. I hope you guys gained some valuable information. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.